Hello, everybody. It is 2:19 on Thursday afternoon. I am just sending you this quick video, a very brief video to address a memo that you received recently from our field experience offices earlier this week. So Professor Bashir sent this out to all of us, and I believe this was sent out to all of you as well. And then I just resent it out again, just in case people haven't got it. But in this memo, it essentially talks about what might happen specifically for student teachers or school closures during this clinical practice time that you're having, and the effects and all of those things. Again, I've sent this email to you, but one of the lines in here suggests that you should try to complete your TPA videos now as a precaution in case your school site is closed. So with that in mind, I want to speak to 2 points. Number one, I disagree. I wouldn't recommend that you actually film your TPA videos right now. I think that would be more disadvantageous for you. But I also understand that if you are feeling a little anxious and nervous about doing so and what the future might hold with all the things that are going on right now, and if you feel to follow that advice, I would at least like to prepare you as best as I can to be successful. So with that said, let me give you a few tips if you are thinking about going forward and filming your videos in case schools close. So you're going to have 3 video clips that you need to film. All 3 of these video clips need to be less than 5 minutes. They need to be unedited. So you can't just piecemeal a video together and say, okay, I'm going to do a minute here and then I'll crop it here and do another minute here. It needs to be continuous. And so their first video clip, you really want to highlight that you're creating a positive classroom environment and setting expectations for learning. They give you the directions for that here. This is in your TPA assessment guide on page 12. And so if you want to go back and look through this. Video clip 2 is a focus on student activities and instructional strategies. Again, they'll give you the directions here and things that they want to be looking for. And then in video clip 3, you're going to provide somewhat of a closure and a clarification for what the next steps for learning might be. So I'm going to scroll down to the rubrics and really highlight what it is that they want to see in those videos. So what you're going to find, what we've already done and what I've, again, slowly been scaffolding you to do so you're prepared, is you've already done video 1. And again, some of you got some feedback from me and need to tweak some things, and that's fine. But the first thing that they want to see in one of these videos is that you're setting the learning expectations for the lesson, you're directly connecting it to the prior learning from the prior lesson, and you're explaining how it fits in the larger unit of instruction. So we've already done this for our first micro teaching video. So that you should feel really good about doing. The next piece is as you're filming yourself teaching, and again, you're going to teach a whole class, and then you're going to film that whole class, but you're only going to take 5-minute clips from that whole class that accentuate these things that I'm highlighting for you right now. So in those 3 videos, those 3 5-minute videos, they would like to see this too, that you are not just showing that you're setting a positive learning environment, but annotating and explaining how you're setting a positive and safe learning environment. So as an example, maybe you got up in class and you're doing a little Q&A with your students and you said, Johnny, what do you think about this? Oh, I think it's this. Oh, Johnny, excellent answer. I really appreciate that answer. That's just a simple example. So then in your annotations, you might want to write, I really, or how do I want to word that? I used positive affirmations. Thank you. Sorry. Using positive affirmations with Johnny to build him up and continue to encourage him to keep trying and to keep answering questions or to even feel good about the answers that he's giving in class. You might even have yourself filming, introducing yourself when people are walking to class, shaking students' hands, asking how their day is going. And then you want to say hey, I always start class off with just trying to get my students to feel welcome and warm. I really feel like this helps their learning. So again, they're not too concerned what you're doing. They're more concerned with, are you aware of what you're doing? That's why they want you to annotate it. So I can give you a negative example. When I was an assessor, I saw a candidate do just that, was in front of the class, told the students that they were going to be doing a writing project. The students kind of audibly moaned and they were like, oh, why are we doing this? And he joked with them. He's like, I know, writing, it's so hard and so challenging. He goes, but you know what? I'm going to make it really easy for you today and you're really going to love what we're doing. And then they got to work. And it was an excellent example of setting a positive learning environment. The only problem with it was that candidate did not annotate that he was doing that in that moment. And so I didn't know if he was aware of whether he was doing it or not. So it's really important that you annotate these videos when you're trying to explain how you're setting the positive learning environment. So that's the second thing that they're going to look for in these 3 videos. The third thing they're going to look for is how you are using strategies, again, seen in the video, not annotated, but actually seen in the video, that are supporting students' success to access and meet the content-specific learning goals. Now, they're already going to know what those learning goals are because you've mentioned them in the first part here. So now they want to see, how are you doing it? Are you going around monitoring students? Are you providing them opportunities to meet the goal? And these are all the things that we're going to be learning later on this semester. But if you feel comfortable doing that now and filming that now, go for it. But again, I would just caution you to understand that they need to see these strategies in the video. They need to see that they're strategies that would actually support students in meeting the goal established for the day. So that's the first 3 of 5 things that they're looking for in these 3 videos that you'll be filming. Okay, the next 2. Candidates' instruction and assessment, not just instruction and assessment, require students to actively engage in higher order thinking, meaning analysis, synthesis, evaluation, interpretation, transfer. Again, later on this semester, we're going to go deep into what does analysis look like? What does synthesis look like? What does evaluation look like? What does interpretation look like? And even what does transfer look like? But at this point, if you feel comfortable with doing these things, then they want to see it. They want to see it in the video, not just in the assessment, so that the assessment, maybe that pops up in your video that they're providing students, or you're checking for students' understanding, and you're not just doing things like, if I just turn to like Hugo in class, hey Hugo, what is the capital of Spain? And then he gives me the answer and I'm like, perfect. That's a recall. So I really want to see, as you are checking for students' understanding, that you are checking for their understanding at deeper levels, and that you're also instructing them at deeper levels. And so your use of questioning, your use of activities, all of that should be at higher order thinking. So again, we're going to address that later. Here's why I'm discouraging you from doing what they're suggesting, but I'm trying to give you some support right now. And last but not least, they want to see in these 3 videos that you are monitoring student learning and checking for understanding throughout the lesson. So they want to see that you're walking around, that you're taking moments to stop and ask students how they're understanding the content, and that somewhere in the lesson, preferably the 3rd clip, you need to show that you are providing next steps for learning. That's great. Now that we've done this, here's where we're going next. And that could happen periodically throughout the lesson too. So you could be in the lesson and say, perfect, now that we've finished this aspect of writing, now we're going to move on to the body paragraph. Just something that shows that you've checked for understanding and you're letting them know where they're going next so the learning makes sense to them. So I hope that helps. Feel free, if it doesn't, to set up an office hour with me. Again, if you're worried about filming, or to ask questions or to give me a call and we can work through any questions you might have. But I just wanted to give you a quick overview of what they're expecting in the videos if you feel the need to start filming now. So I hope to see you all on Monday. And if you have any questions in the meantime, let me know. Thanks.